Furious 7, titled on screen as Fast and Furious 7, is a 2015 American action thriller film, directed by James Wan and written by Chris Morgan. It is the sequel to Fast and Furious 6, 2013, and the seventh installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. The film stars Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Dwayne Johnson, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Chris Ludacris Bridges, Jordana Brewster, Jaimin Hinsu, Kurt Russell, and Jason Statham. In the film, Dominic Toretto, Brian O'Connor, and the rest of their team, who have returned to the United States to live normal lives after securing amnesty for their past crimes, until Deckard Shaw, a rogue Special Forces assassin seeking to avenge his comatose younger brother Owen Shaw, puts the team in danger once again. The film marks the final film appearance of Paul Walker, who died in 2013. And the film is dedicated to him, thus making it the character Brian O'Connor's final appearance. 5. Plans for a seventh installment were first announced in February 2012 when Johnson stated that production on the film would begin after the completion of Fast and Furious 6. In April 2013, Wan, predominantly known for horror films, was announced to direct the film. Casting began showing the returns of Diesel and Walker that same month. Principal photography began in September in Atlanta, and ended in July 2014 after resuming in April to allow Paul's brothers Caleb and Cody as stand-ins to complete his remaining scenes for the film, which was delayed to its current release date. With other filming locations including Los Angeles, Colorado, Abu Dhabi, and Tokyo. Furious 7 premiered in Los Angeles on April 1, 2015, and was theatrically released in the United States on April 3. Upon release, the film became a critical and financial success, with praise being aimed at the film's action sequences and its emotional tribute to Walker. It grossed $397.6 million worldwide during its opening weekend, which was the second highest of all time. The film grossed over $1.5 billion worldwide, making it the highest-grossing film of the franchise after just 12 days. The third highest-grossing film of 2015 and the fourth highest-grossing film of all time at the time of release. The sequel, The Fate of the Furious, was released in April 2017. Plot, edit. After defeating Owen Shaw and his crew and securing amnesty for their past crimes, N1, Dominic, Dom, Toretto, Brian O'Connor and the rest of their team have returned to the United States to live peaceful, normal lives again. Brian begins to accustom himself to life as a father, while Dom tries to help Letty Ortiz regain her memory. Meanwhile, Owen's older brother, Deckard, breaks into the secure hospital in London where the comatose Owen is being held, before breaking into DSS office in Los Angeles to extract profiles of Dom's crew. After revealing his identity, Deckard engages Luke Hobbs in a fight and escapes when he detonates a bomb that severely injures Hobbs. Dom later learns from his sister MIA that she is pregnant again and convinces her to tell Brian. However, a letter bomb sent from Tokyo explodes and destroys the Toretto house just seconds after Han Lu, a member of Dom's team, is apparently killed by Deckard in Tokyo. N2. Dom travels to Tokyo to reclaim Han's body and acquires personal items found at Han's crash site from Han's friend, Sean Boswell. As Dom, Brian, Tage Parker, and Roman Pierce mourn Han and Giselle Yash's deaths at Han's funeral in Los Angeles, Dom confronts Deckard in an underground tunnel. Deckard flees when a covert ops team arrives and opens fire, led by a man only known as Mr. Nobody. At his air base of operations in San Diego, Mr. Nobody says that he will help Dom in stopping Deckard if he helps him get God's Eye, a computer program that uses digital devices to track down a person, and save its creator, a hacker named Ramsey, from a Nigerian terrorist named Mose Jakande. Dom, Brian, Letty, Roman, and Tage airdrop their cars over the Caucasus Mountains in Azerbaijan, ambush Jakande's convoy and rescue Ramsey. And they go to Abu Dhabi and steal the flash drive containing the God's Eye chip from a billionaire. With God's Eye near telecommunications repeaters, Dom, Brian, Nobody, and his team track down and capture Deckard, but are ambushed by Jakande and his henchmen and forced to flee while Jakande obtains God's Eye, as the injured Mr. Nobody calls for medical attention. The team returns to Los Angeles where Dom plans to single-handedly fight Deckard alone, while Letty, Brian, Tage, and Roman resolve to protect Ramsey from Jakande. Later on, Brian promises MIA that he will fully dedicate himself to their family after he defeats Deckard and Jakande. As Jakande pursues Brian and the rest of the team with a stealth helicopter and an aerial drone, Ramsey attempts to hack into God's Eye. Hobbs, discovering the situation, leaves the hospital and destroys the drone with an ambulance. Brian battles and kills Jakande's henchman Kiat before hijacking a signal repeater tower, allowing Ramsey to regain control of God's Eye and shut it down. Meanwhile, Dom and Deckard engage in a one-on-one brawl on top of a public parking garage. Jakande soon intervenes and attacks them both. Dom uses the distraction to defeat Deckard by causing part of the parking garage to collapse beneath him. Dom then attempts to crash his car onto Jakande's helicopter. He leaves a bag of grenades on the helicopter and crashes on the rubble. Hobbs then shoots the grenades, destroying the helicopter and killing Jakande. After Brian and Hobbs help Letty bring out Dom's unconscious body, she cradles him and fully regains all her memories by remembering their wedding. Dom eventually regains consciousness after Letty tells him this. Deckard is taken into custody by Hobbs and locked away in a secret, high-security CIA prison. The rest of the team relaxes on a tropical beach. Brian and MIA play with their son Jack while Dom, Letty, Roman, Tage, and Ramsey look on, acknowledging that Brian is happily retired with his family. Dom and Brian drive away and Dom remembers all the times that he had with Brian. They bid each other farewell by giving one last smile and drive off in separate directions. Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto, a former criminal and professional street racer who has retired and settled down with his wife, Letty. 7. Paul Walker as Brian O'Connor, a former FBI agent turned criminal and professional street racer who has retired and settled down with his wife, MIA, and their son, Jack. This was Walker's last role in the film series before his death in 2013. 7. Caleb and Cody Walker, Paul's younger brothers, were used as stand-ins to complete his remaining scenes following their brother's death. 8. Dwayne Johnson as Luke Hobbs, a DSS agent who allied with Dom and his team after their outings in Rio de Janeiro and Europe. 7. Johnson initially said that if Universal Pictures pursued the accelerated development of a seventh film beginning in the summer, he would be unable to participate due to scheduling conflicts with filming on Hercules 2014. 9. However, as production for Furious 7 would commence in September, Johnson confirmed his return. For Hercules would complete production in time to enable him to film a significant part. 10. Michelle Rodriguez as Letty Ortiz, Dom's wife and a professional street racer, who was revealed to have suffered from amnesia after being presumed dead in Fast and Furious 2009. Tyrese Gibson is Roman Pierce, a former criminal and childhood friend of Brian from Barstow, and a member of Dom's team. 7. Chris Ludacris Bridges is Tage Parker, a mechanic from Miami and a member of Dom's team. 7. Jordana Brewster is Mia Toretto, Dom's sister and a former member of his team who has settled down with her husband, Brian, and their son, Jack. 7. Jaimin Hinsu is Mose Jakande, a Nigerian-born mercenary and terrorist who leads a private military company that allies with Shaw, and uses God's Eye to track its creator, and uses her to track down his enemies. 7. Tony Jaa is Kiat, a member of Jakande's team who possesses great agility, athleticism, and fighting prowess. Thai martial arts actor Jaa was confirmed to have joined the cast in August 2013, making his Hollywood debut. 11. 12. Ronda Rousey as Kara, the head of security for an Abu Dhabi billionaire. Rousey's involvement was confirmed in August 2013, having committed to The Expendables 3, 2014. At the same time, Rousey was forced to shoot both films back-to-back in order to allow herself 45 days to focus on training for her UFC Championship rematch against Miesha Tate. Her participation in the film was similar to that of Gina Carano, making the transition from mixed martial arts fighting to acting. Following Carano's involvement in Fast and Furious 6. 13. Natalie Emmanuel is Ramsey, a British computer hacktivist and the creator of the God's Eye, who allies with Dom and his team after being saved from Jakande and helps them to regain control of her program. 7. Kurt Russell is Mr. Nobody, the leader of a covert ops team who agrees to help Dom stop Shaw if he can help him prevent Jakande from obtaining a computer program called the God's Eye. 7. Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw, a rogue special forces assassin seeking to avenge his comatose younger brother after his hospitalization at the hands of Dom and his team in Spain. 7. Lucas Black as Sean Boswell, an American street racer who lives in Tokyo whom Dom meets when he travels to Tokyo to claim the body of Han, a mutual friend of theirs killed by Shaw. In September, it was confirmed that Black had signed on to reprise his role as Boswell for Furious 7 and 2 more installments. 14. 15. Elsa Pataky as Elena Neves, a DSS agent and former Rio police officer who moved to the United States to become Hobbs' new partner at the DSS. 7. John Brotherton as Shepard, Mr. Nobody's right-hand man. 7. 16, 17, 18. Ali Fuzzle plays Safar, a friend of Ramsey to whom she sent the God's Eye for safekeeping. Fuzzle described his role as a cameo. 19. Luke Evans briefly reprises his role from the previous film as Owen Shaw, Deckard's now comatose younger brother. And Noel Guglielmi returns for a cameo appearance as Hector from The Fast and the Furious, 2001. 20. Sung Kang briefly reprises his role as Han Lu via archive footage of Fast and Furious 6. 21. Australian rapper Iggy Azalea, who also appears on the soundtrack, makes a cameo appearance as a racer at Race Wars. 22, 23, 24. American singer. On October 21, 2011, the Los Angeles Times reported that Universal Studios was considering filming 2 sequels, Fast 6 and Fast 7, back-to-back with a single storyline running through both films. Both would be written by Chris Morgan and directed by Justin Lin, who had been the franchise's writer and director, respectively, since The Fast and the Furious. Tokyo Drift, 2006, 28, on December 20, 2011, following the release of Fast 5, 2011, Vin Diesel stated that Fast 6 would be split into 2 parts, with writing for the 2 films occurring simultaneously. On the decision, Diesel said, "We have to pay off this story, we have to service all of these character relationships, and when we started mapping all that out it just went beyond 110 pages. The studio said, you can't fit all that story in one damn movie." 29. However, in an interview on February 15, 2012, Dwayne Johnson stated that the 2 intended sequels would no longer be filmed simultaneously because of weather issues in filming locations, and that production on Fast 7 would only begin after the completion of Fast 6, 30, in April 2013, during the post-production of the retitled Fast and Furious 6. Lin announced that he would not return to direct the 7th film, as the studio wanted to produce the film on an accelerated scheduled for release in summer 2014. This would have required Lin to begin pre-production on the sequel while performing post-production on Fast and Furious 6, which he considered would affect the quality of the final product. Despite the usual 2-year gap between the previous installments, Universal chose to pursue a sequel quicker due to having fewer reliable franchises than its competitor studios. 31. However, subsequent interviews with Lin have suggested that the 6th film was always intended to be the final installment under his direction. 32. In April 2013, Australian director James Wan, predominantly known for horror films, was announced as the sequel's director, with Neil H. Moritz and Michael Fottrell returning to produce and Morgan returning to write the script. His 5th in the franchise. On April 16, 2013, Diesel announced that the sequel would be released on July 11, 2014. 33. In May 2013, Diesel said that the sequel would feature Los Angeles, Tokyo, and the Middle East as locations. Stunts, edit. The Lockheed C-130 Hercules, 57, was used in the film to carry the vehicles that would drop from 12,000 feet high, above the Sonoran Desert, making cars plummet at a speed of about 130 to 140 miles per hour. 58, 59. The airdrop sequence was conceived by stunt coordinator, Spyro Razatos, who also supervised on the franchise's 2 previous installments, Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6. 60, 61. Razatos told Business Insider that he wanted to rely more on real stunts rather than CGI because he wanted the whole sequence to feel real and fulfill audiences' expectations. 60. The stunt took months of prep solving problems. Cameras needed to be mounted onto cars in a way that they would not be destroyed when the cars landed, and the crew had to figure out a safe way to get the cars out of the plane. They performed a dry run with a single car falling out of a plane. 60. And did this 6 times. 61. Cars were dropped from a Lockheed C-130 Hercules high above the Arizona desert, but close-up shots that show the cars landing on a mountain road were filmed in Colorado. 61. There were 2 airplanes, flying at a height of 12,000 feet, each dropping 2 cars apiece. 60. BRS parachutes enabled with GPS were secured to each of the cars before dropping off the C-130 plane. The scene featuring Brian jumping off a bus off a cliff was performed by a stuntman and was all done without any computer graphics. 63. The shooting for this particular sequence along with the scene in which Dom and his team are pursuing to rescue Ramsey almost did not happen due to the absence of tax break in Colorado. 63. The studio originally wanted to shoot the sequence in Georgia, which provides tax breaks for film productions. And then add woods in the background later in post-production, to which Razatos denied, saying, "The audience is going to know it's CGI, and aren't going to feel good about it." 63. Shooting finally took place in Colorado. 63. A total of 340 cars were used in the film. 62. And more than 230 cars were destroyed in the making of the film, including several black Mercedes-Benzes, a Ford Crown Victoria, and a Mitsubishi Montero. 64. The film featured the on-screen destruction of a Lykan Hypersport by W Motors, valued at $3.4 million. 65. Though the actual car destroyed was a less expensive model made for the film rather than one of the 7 actual production Hypersports. 66. The mountain highway chase scene on Colorado's Monarch Pass proved to be the most damaging sequence, with over 40 vehicles being destroyed. 64. 67. Only 10% of the action sequences in the film were computer-generated. And even then, much of the CGI was employed simply to erase the wires and other contraptions that were used to film real cars and drivers, or to add a background. 62. It took more than 3,500 man-days to complete the various stunts of the film. Redevelopment of Walker's character. Edit. When I first heard the news, I was shell-shocked like everyone, and it took me days to come to terms with it. And then after that, heartbreak started sinking in, and we realized that Paul Walker wasn't going to be around with us anymore moving forward, and it was a really hard one. And finishing the movie was the last thing on my mind at that point. It was more the idea of picking up the pieces, going back on set, rallying the team, the cast, and the crew. And as the director, having to put on the brave face and champion and push everyone along. The idea of that was very daunting for me. But it became very apparent to all of us that we needed to finish this movie to honor Paul's legacy and to basically honor his memories. It was about making this movie for Paul. James Wan, director of Furious 7, 68, in January 2014, Time reported that Walker's character, Brian O'Connor, would be retired instead of killed, and that new scenes would be developed in order to allow the franchise to continue without him. 69. To recreate Walker's likeness. The filmmakers hired Peter Jackson's Weta Digital Visual Effects house, which had previously produced the imagery of Gollum in the Lord of the Rings franchise and Caesar in the Planet of the Apes franchise. 70. Initially, what Weta could do was severely constrained by the quality of the reference materials available for Walker's physical appearance. In April 2014, it was reported that Walker's brothers Caleb and Cody had been hired as stand-ins. 71. Their strong resemblance to their late brother meant the filmmakers could use scans of their bodies instead of recreating Walker's entire body from scratch. The final film showed Walker's face superimposed over the bodies of his brothers or actor John Brotherton in 350 visual effects shots. 260 used a computer-generated face, while 90 repurposed actual footage of Walker's face borrowed from outtakes or older footage. Music. Edit. Main articles. Furious 7, original motion picture soundtrack, and Furious 7, score. The musical score was composed by Brian Tyler, who scored the third, fourth, and fifth installments of the series. 74. There's an emotional component to Fast and Furious 7 that is unique, said Tyler about his experience scoring. I think people are really going to be amazed by it. 75. A soundtrack album to the film was released by Atlantic Records on March 17, 2015. 76 songs featured in the film include Go Hard or Go Home, Wiz Khalifa and Iggy Azalea. 77 Ride Out, Kid Ink, Tiger, Whale. YG and Rich Homie Quan. 78 See You Again, Wiz Khalifa featuring Charlie Puth, My Angel, Prince Royce, Hamdulillah, Nasi featuring Shadia Mansour, Get Low, Dylan Francis and DJ Snake. A. Vamos, J Balvin featuring Nicky Jam and French Montana, Tempest, Deftones, Meneo, Fito Blanco, Payback, Juicy J. Kevin Gates, Future and Sage the Gemini, Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth's See You Again, which plays over the film's emotional ending, and a tribute to Paul Walker. Received both popular and critical acclaim. It was shortlisted for the Song of the Year for the BBC Music Awards and was nominated for Best Original Song at the 73rd Golden Globe Awards. 79 See You Again was the best-selling song of 2015 worldwide, with combined sales and track equivalent streams of 20.9 million units according to Theatrical edit. The film originally scheduled to be released on July 11, 2014, 33, but the film was put on hold following Paul Walker's death in November 2013, 51, in October 2014. Universal revealed that the film was officially titled Furious 7. Leading up to the event, 7-second behind-the-scenes videos were released. Titled, 7 Seconds of 7, 81. The film was next scheduled for release on April 10, 2015, 54, but it was announced that the film's release date had been brought forward a week to April 3, 82. The official announcement in change of date was made in July 2014. 82, Furious 7 premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival at 12:07 a.m. at Austin's Paramount Theater on March 16, 2015. 83, for its global premiere at the TCL Chinese Theater in Los Angeles on April 1. IMAX Corporation installed a new laser projection, which was the first such installation in the US and the second worldwide, following The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, 2014, which opened at Scotiabank Theatre in Toronto in December 2014. 84. Furious 7 was released on July 6, 2015 in the UK and was released via DVD and Blu-ray on July 28 in other countries. The Blu-ray edition features an all-new extended edition, deleted scenes, stunts, behind the scenes, and the music video for Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth's See You Again. The Blu-ray and DVD version include behind-the-scene footage of the Race Wars scene, including rapper Iggy Azalea and making of the cars featured in the film. 85, in the US and Canada. It sold roughly 2.5 million units on Blu-ray and DVD in its first week of release, making it the highest-selling home entertainment live-action film of 2015. 86. This record was later surpassed by Jurassic World, 2015, the following month. 87.